Okay, why you are not allowed to overnight camp in every Walmart. Some you can't, some you can. We're going to talk about those reasons right now. There's a story that's been floating around the last few days, and several newspapers have picked it up and kind of reprinted it as they always do in news sites. And basically that a few years ago, like 78% of Walmarts allowed overnight camping. Now it's down to 58%. And it's because some of the people that stay there are so horrible, they ruin it for everybody. Some of that is true. A lot of times what has happened, though, is Walmart has left more rural areas and built bigger and bigger stores in areas that weren't quite as rural, and they've turned these things into plazas where now it's just not Walmart sitting there by itself, that it's a wall of 20 other stores that are connected to it. Is Walmart often doesn't own that, or now you're dealing with city rules that don't want overnight camping, anything like that, because that's their way of protecting the hotel business. So a lot of times it's not even up to Walmart as it were. And the thing that goes down is this is basically up to each Walmart store manager. Well, sometimes it isn't. If Walmart doesn't own that and it's a shared parking lot with all of these other stores, and there's some company that built this little megaplex that actually owns this, it's up to them. And in those situations, a lot of those companies don't want anybody there. They don't want those vehicles all night where they're trying to clean the lot and having to drive around them. They just don't want the hassle from the people that abuse it and think they can go live there at the Walmart for 2 weeks straight in their vehicle. And that's understandable. So that's part of the reasons why the number of these has decreased. The other being people who are just horrible people and are so selfish that they ruin it for everyone else when trying to camp overnight at a Walmart. Because if a store has enough bad experiences, they're finally just going to say enough and put an end to it and start putting the no overnight parking signs up. No RV parking signs up. You can't blame them for doing that. There's no point in being mad at the stores for doing that, because you don't know what led to that decision being made. And unfortunately, some of the people that we're out on the road with make really bad decisions, and those irresponsible people make life harder on the rest of us that try to do things the right way and actually have manners and actually common sense and try to think things through. So things that people do when they're camping overnight at Walmart, that is just plain wrong. First, it's not a campground. You should be staying in your vehicle pretty much, unless you're going into the store to buy something. If you're just using them and you're going to stay there and you're going to make 7 trips into the store to use the bathroom, you're kind of pushing it. All right. That's really not what it's there for. It needs to be a win-win for everybody. Walmart needs to pick up a little extra business from you being there. That's only fair. You know, don't abuse the privileges of running in and out to use their bathroom every 2 hours. Again, you should be doing this. You should be, even in a minivan, self-contained enough to where this isn't an issue if you're doing this right. Number 2, this is not the place, because again, it's not a campground. You don't have a right to it. This isn't the place to pull out a grill outside and start cooking and grilling. I think that should be obvious, but apparently that isn't to a lot of people. So either eat something, do something to where you don't have to do that, or if you decide you need to do this much cooking, leave Walmart, go find you a little city park somewhere, because there's probably one within a mile of there. Go to the city park and do things like that. I like to have showers on the road. I do that a lot. I'm not going to stand beside my van in the Walmart parking lot, however, and do it. I'm going to go find, again, that city park, someplace out of the way to do it. In a worst case scenario, depending on how it's laid out, I may pull my van over to the edge of the property, road where I can do that and really not be seen, not be noticed too much. But again, there are people that will go and abuse this and act like they live there and can do whatever they want to. And if you're thinking it's just the poor little van lifers that are doing this, you can think again, because the guys pulling in with the $200,000 rigs, there are some of them that they think they own the world and they can do whatever they want. And they're pulling their slides out. They don't care if their slides coming out into a row of traffic. They'll sit there if it's going to be possibly a bad weather night. And the biggest no-no, they want to put their jacks down to stabilize their trailer. Well, this can actually bust concrete. It can actually bust asphalt to do this. So that's a big no-no. And if the people running this Walmart, they see these things happening over and over again, they're going to put an end to overnight camping at their store. But these things go on. People with animals that don't, they take their dogs out, they don't clean up after their animals when they poo-poo. There's a lot of that stuff that goes on. So just the little basic annoyances and what people should know and have respect for in society, unfortunately, some don't. Again, that makes it harder on the rest of us that try to do things the right way. And my subscriber base, I'm sure, has enough sense to try to do things the right way. But trust me, out on the road in the real world, not everyone, unfortunately, is that way. So if you've camped in a Walmart parking lot, stayed overnight, I should say, I don't really like to call it camping. If you stayed overnight at a Walmart parking lot or something of a similar store, and you've seen other people do things they shouldn't do, the stupid things that are going to make it harder for the rest of us, I'd really like if you put those stories down in the comment section. Let's kind of share those around. Experiences you've had, things that you've seen. So we all learn from each other. Any questions you have, drop those down in the comment section. We'll talk soon.